businesses as capital. I mean, for instance, here, how many here have a business that owns them? Okay, so you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So having that cash flow to keep that friendly monster going is one of the key things. So we have a monthly session on our small business loan programs. It's usually the last Wednesday of every month except for December. We've got one coming up next week at 5 p.m. At our offices at the Georgia Pacific Center. So even if you have a good banking relationship, you can use our loans in some cases to stack your capital. So if your bank, or PNC or Bank of America says, hey, we can only do 70%, we might be able to help you close that gap, or maybe come up with an additional 20 or 25% and make your reality, what your plans into a reality. One of the other things that we like to do is help businesses with permitting. So if you're doing an expansion project or a new project, we want that process to be as streamlined as possible. Again, we want you creating jobs, and number one, paying taxes, because it keeps everything going. I mean, so it's in our best interest as a municipality to be your partner in a very forward-facing way. So you have the right, in fact, it's your duty to call on us and ask us for help. Because, your attorney, which is a well-meaning professional, is charging by the hour. Your CPA or your financial planner also has fees attached. We're a resource that is available to you as a business, as part of the business community, to help you, manifest your realities and support that workforce, because you're the ones out here employing the majority of the people out here in the metro Atlanta area. So we depend on you to keep the jobs coming and keep the jobs here.
So, Ken, I'm actually going to stay with you on this question. So I'm looking around the room and I see some familiar faces. I see some minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and veteran-owned businesses. And so we're talking about access to capital and loans from Invest Atlanta. What do they need to do to be prepared and qualified to come get loans and money from Invest Atlanta?
Demonstrating the ability to service debt is any financial institution's requirement for loan money out. A bank, a credit union, your mother-in-law, they want to know that the money is actually going to come back to them, preferably with interest. Our loans are structured a little bit differently because, again, our goal is job creation. We don't actually approve the loans internally. They're done by a separate committee made up of bankers. There's 7 people on the committee. If you get 4 people that say yes, guess what happens? You get a loan. So it's a little different than banks where you can be turned down. One person in the room can not like your package and say, and that's it. So we have a different, set of guidelines that we operate on. So, a business owner should always be conscious of, if you had, I'll never forget, this was when I was working in Detroit, I actually had someone come to me and was trying to raise capital for their business, and I was going through their financials, and I hit their retirement, their 401k package and some other things and investments. They had literally almost $800,000, And I said, well, wait, hey, there's your $200,000 right there. You can tap most of it there. He's like, that's my retirement. And the thing is that he wasn't willing to put his future at risk into his business. So why would anyone else do that? And you have to ask yourself that question over and over again. So when you look at your numbers, you look at you have to have excuse the expression, come to Jesus with your cash flows. And if they're not, if the prayer you're getting back doesn't make sense, you need to make some adjustments. Now what those are, is another matter, and you can tap resources. In fact, the SBDC is out here and is one of the absolute best resources, again, a government-funded operation, let's hope it's around, to get information, support, and guidance that you don't outwardly have to pay for, or it's a very low-cost class. So those are the kind of things you want to access and make into part of your team.
Okay, great. So when you all leave here, we know that the first thing we need to do is have a come to Jesus meeting with our cash flow, okay? So I want to talk with Monica Maldonado, who's the founder and CEO of Interprint. And Monica's here actually representing the Small Business Development Center. And as we talk with Ken about what we need to do to get prepared to come see him, what organization is out there that can help us actually get all those things in order? So Monica, you've been in business now for 30 years. And I'm really proud to say that her business is in DeKalb County, so I'm really even more excited about that. But Monica, tell me how the SBDC helped your business.
Can I
Absolutely.
put my feet on the ground like a good small business? So I have to come to the Jesus moment that he was telling every day with cash flow, right? A small business, that's probably one of the biggest issues. But I want to tell you, in 33 years that we have been in business, you go through different growth spurts. And in one instance, it can be lack of capital. In the other one, you're always looking for where the next buck is coming. The other one, your internal organization. The other one, you're so worried about other things that you forget about the internal people that makes things happen. And so I was part of the Metro Protege program maybe 3 years ago. That is a program that the state of Georgia does under another minority organization in greater GMSDC. And I heard a few people from the SBDC giving their classes. This Metro Protege program, like Fast Track, that is a program from SBDC that I took in 2005, all have different components of your business. Your marketing, your finances, your internal processes, and so forth. And on this particular one, we took really advantage of what the SBDC could do for you. So what did they do for me? All right. So I went through a whole 3 months of strategic planning. Where I'm in seasoned business, but I am in that printing business. And as you know, printing happens not to be sexy these days. Everything is on the cloud. Everything is digital. But I have a $1.5 million press that I have to pay for. And that's my reality. So how I can make myself still viable with my circumstances as this world is changing. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the cloud, but I still got to touch the ground. That's what I'm standing here with. So we went through the whole strategic planning, internal processes. Where are you gonna be in the next 3 years? What's disrupting your business? How can you just, get into new business processes? And I tell you, free. Do you hear that? FREE. You come with a full document where all your employees are engaged. We also went through employee engagement. Do I have the right people in the right places to help me out with this newness of where I'm headed? Right? How does the employees perceive me? Because this is a family business. My father started this 35 years ago. And I just carried this business maybe 15 years ago. Well, we do a lot of things innately, but there is processes in place, and how is your employees help you in that? So the SBDC really has been key in helping the growth of our company. If you hear or read anything about them, once you engage them, your growth is like a good 15%, and that's the first year that we went on that. And this past year wasn't that much, but we're still engaged, and every two times a year, we go through the process of seeing where we are, what we said we wanted to do, what we didn't do, and go back for it. So that is a resource that is super available for us.
That's awesome. 15% growth is really good, and especially if you're doing even incremental growth year after year. I think that's what we all want our businesses to do is grow. So SBDC is a great organization. I know that we leverage them at the chamber as well. My next question is going to be for Dr. Ellison. How many of you all actually drive around Metro Atlanta area and you see just all kinds of development happening? You see trucks pushing dirt, buildings. Where'd that building come from? You were just here a week ago and there's a full building with a parking lot of it. It's true, right? So as we're looking at, again, as I'm looking around the room and I'm thinking about all the opportunities that are out there, how do you engage your business in all these opportunities that are popping up? Dr. Ellison, I know you're a part of the Metro Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce. How do they help you get resources for your business?
Well, let me first of all say it would be a very dangerous thing for me to step down like she did, because
I'm the one with the skirt. I don't know what
because I'm a preacher, and so if I step down, I may be at the back door. So I'll sit right here in my seat. I'm a new kid on the block, just moved from North Carolina last year, been here for 1 year. pastored a church for 20 years in North Carolina and joined the chamber. It's been most exciting for me because it has helped bring me out of my comfort zone as it pertains to business. And one of the things that the chamber does is definitely help with exposure and expertise. The chamber carries a variety of expertise to help people in the area of financial literacy, marketing, and just getting your business out there, sitting you at the table of opportunity. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about the chamber up to this point.
So for those of you who want to have a Come to Jesus meeting, we should probably meet with Dr. Ellison outside after
Yeah,
this.
meet with me right outside.
Thank you. Chambers are a really great resource, along with Invest Atlanta and SBDC, to really give you some exposure and put you in the room with the right people. So my next question is going to be for Elaine Scott. Now, Elaine is actually with MARTA, but they work closely with the Center for Working Families. So how does MARTA engage Center for Working Families, and for what resources?
Of course, I'm in the business of human capital, or hiring people. So with partnering with the Center for Working Families, we have the opportunity to hire highly qualified candidates from their organization. They've been trained in job readiness. They've learned to gain an understanding of work-life balance. They are prepared in interviewing. They're prepared on how to handle difficult situations, working with different people. So it is an excellent opportunity for us to hire and retain qualified people.
So if you can expand on that a little bit, because we're talking about small businesses and small business resources. Obviously, MARTA is a major organization with lots of employees. How do our small businesses take advantage of that program?
Okay. So we do have a DBE program. Yeah, and that is geared towards disadvantaged businesses such as minority women, business owners, and just minority business owners. So we have a very viral and active program there. Now, us in supporting the group that we're partnering today, we participate in various outreach programs, clothing drives, mentorship, just, boots on the ground support to that center.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Ken, I'm actually going to go back to you, and because Invest Atlanta is such a large organization made up of multiple kind of smaller organizations that make up Invest Atlanta, chaired by the mayor of Atlanta.
Would you like me to rivet you with all the details on that, or no? Well, so we're made up we have two forward-facing departments. One is economic development, where I'm housed, and community development. For those of you who may not, and probably you've had more interaction with them, we have down payment assistance for homeowners through our community development. We're the ones that actually come up with what they call low-income housing tax credits to fund senior housing and workforce housing. And we also, believe it or not, the Beltline. Now everybody knows the Beltline, right? The Beltline is a tax allocation district under Invest Atlanta. So they are, were created by the state and the city coming together and creating a fund. The tax allocation district is basically a defined area in a community where they take the taxes that are generated from the commercial and industrial properties and put that tax increment aside for special projects. The special project is the Beltline. So that's funded by the taxes that are created from Ponce City Market, things like that. So that's what we do. We also help fund the stadium. We help bring Porsche, NCR. We also help La Fruta. We also help the Spotted Trotter. So there's a range of what we do, and that's our forward-facing. Then we're supported by our legal and accounting departments, and then we also have compliance. So
awesome. So Invest Atlanta does a lot. We also have a development authority in DeKalb County. There are many development authorities in whatever county you may be, your business may be located in. So I always say, make sure you get to know those people, those faces there. understand the services that they offer. If you don't know who your development authority is, I would say when you leave here today, you should go find that out. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, a lot of times companies leave things on the table because they didn't make that call. And sometimes if you go forward and don't call me first, you'll wish you had. You wish you had. Because a lot of times the development authority may have resources they could deploy for your project or your business that they can't do on the back end. They can't do it retroactively. So it's always worth making the call.
And I'm going to make a point, but I want to make sure that I get to you all's questions as well. When I bring up the Development Authority, because they work with such large organizations that are either relocating here to Georgia, outside of the state, or relocating somewhere else around the region or around the state, we'll have companies that are relocating to DeKalb and they'll say, okay, we need this service, and this service. And we're able to share that with our small businesses in the chamber. So that's why I said it's important for you all to engage there. But I want to stop there, and I want to make sure that our panelists, do you all have any golden nuggets that you want to share with the audience and what your organizations that you're representing today can be helpful around growing their business and around resources?
I think that one important thing as you want to do business with the counties and with the cities are your certifications. You know, you have to be certified. In my case, I'm certified with the City of Atlanta as a Hispanic business enterprise, with Marta as a disadvantaged business enterprise. I hate the name disadvantage, but I will take advantage of that anytime. And any certification out there, because that is probably like the first roadblock or ask to for any county, organization, or city. So certification is super important. The other thing is the chambers of commerce. You know, I have been in business for 33 years, and I have been involved with a lot of the local chambers, in boards of many chambers, and the time that you put into the chambers and the networking that you make are really, really key to the sales focus of your business. So that will be my takeaway.
As far as the chamber is concerned, the Atlanta Black Chambers, we offer, I think, maybe well over 100 events a year that people can engage in. We have every Tuesday what we call Tuesday Talks, and it's all about connecting people with valuable connections. We have Tuesday Talks every Tuesday from 8:30 till 9 o'clock. We have First Friday meetings at the Gathering Spot, and then we have Third Saturday meetings where people can engage and have access to valuable connections that can help elevate their businesses.
I see a lot of folks taking notes and writing things down, so let me make sure you get something on the list. And the word is schools. Contact your local school. I think even if you are printing business, reaching out to a school and making that connection. Schools are often the center of a community. It's a place where parents come, great future employees, future customers, building that brand, and printing out programs for an event is a way to get your brand out there, get your name out there while supporting something that's important to your community, supporting something that's potentially important to your employees, certainly important to your brand to be associated with the school. I think you'll find that there is a ton of opportunity and potential that's untapped. But I will tell you, if you wait for the school systems to contact you, you will sit by the phone for a very long time. This is an opportunity that just doesn't. This is what our organization Word for Life is working on. But as folks that are entrepreneurial and folks that don't let the dust settle underneath your feet because you're constantly moving, you're constantly looking for opportunities, I would add this to your list. I suspect it'll be one of the more rewarding, most impactful things that you do. And in a way, it'll also grow your business, grow the mission of your group, and really grow a spirit of enterprise throughout your organization.
Okay. I'd like to say it's very important to be in partnership as a business with organizations such as the Center for Working Families, because you have the opportunity to hire people that that live and will be working in the communities in which your business serves. So for MARTA, it is an excellent opportunity to not only hire people, but also to then give back by supporting, by participating in any programs that we can help in.
For business owners, I just have to say this. Usually You know, you go in and you do your work and you focus on your business and you live and breathe it, and sometimes you sleep, sometimes you don't. But the point is, you shouldn't suffer in silence. And I think one of the things is we forget that there are coupons, high value coupons out here that you can use when you're trying to go through some of these things. And some of the folks on this panel represent those kinds of opportunities. Invest Atlanta, SBDC, your chambers of commerce, you know, not-for-profit organizations that are entrenched inside the community, your educational resources, university, colleges and universities are all things that you should consider as part of your business plan. Because as a business, I mean, ideally you are part of the community and you need to know what assets are there. So if you're having a challenge, sometimes it's worth picking up the phone or sending an email to ask, hey, I'm having this issue and I can't guarantee you I'm going to have an answer or anybody I know, but at least we're going to listen and we will at least attempt to, you know, come up with some potential resources for you to tap. So again, don't think you're alone in this fight.
So I'm going to piggyback off that a little bit because I was actually going to make a point. How many of you all are members of any organization, whether it's a chamber or a small business association? Okay, so quite a few of you. Now, out of everyone that raised their hand, how many of you all have actually looked at the list of board members in that membership or in that organization, and you've called and said, hey, can somebody introduce me to 5 board members by email today? How are you really leveraging your membership? I see one, but how are you really leveraging your membership? Because anytime you decide to make an investment, a financial investment of your business into any kind of membership, you need to be strategic about how you get that return back on your investment. And so that's what you should be thinking about. If there's a business in your local chamber, whether it's the DeKalb Chamber, the Black Chamber of Commerce, and you see a business, okay, Georgia Power, how do I get in touch with them so that I can do business with them? It may not be that easy, but we can tell you who to contact in their supply diversity department, right? So you all have to be really thoughtful about how you leverage your membership and those dollars that you're investing in that organization. What questions do you have today for our panelists? Sir, tell me your name and your business.
Jay Moore, MJT of Global Enterprise.
Fantastic. What's your question, Mr. Moore?
2 questions.
Okay.
1, 10, right? Yes. I would like a 15-minute appointment with you. Monica, I would like to have a 15-minute appointment with you. 7 appointments to talk to both of you. 15 minutes to sleep.
No problem.
Oh, okay then, Mr. Moore. Okay, ma'am, your question. Tell me your name, business, and
they are our teachers. And they'll come down, you know, so
so I just want to reiterate the question. So you said, what are the 2 most pressing issues dealing with education?
Only 2. Well, look, it's such a complicated enterprise. It's so much. If I had to pick 2 things, that if I could add a magic wand, the communities that folks, the single best predictor of how well a child will do in the school system is how well their parents did. And so that generational breakdown, if you come from a home where the parents aren't educated, there's lots of examples of getting kids through, but it's really hard. So we need the whole community support to help provide that extra support for kids who are coming to the school system behind. And then I would just say on the other end, so that